It's such good shit!
Hey, Mark Rodriguez here with a kind of special, kind of different edition of the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, because this time instead of talking about AEW like we always do, we're talking about Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor 2022. And with me is...
Johnny Rodriguez. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast.
And the one and only Jack Naz from Jack Naz Reviews.
Alrighty, so like I said, we're going to be talking about Supercard of Honor. Apologies in advance. I'm going to try my best to edit this video or podcast in time, but if not, well, oh well. But because this show is like tomorrow night, guys. I don't know why Friday of all days, but tomorrow night. So we'll be trying to do our predictions and have them online by the time the show is up and everything. And but before we do that, like what we usually do, we kind of go into wrestling news here and there around the world. And I guess we're going to start kind of a somber note, but also kind of like, I guess, you know how it is when you kind of go back to the memories and nostalgia and stuff. So unfortunately, we lost one of the greats of wrestling, especially for Johnny and I, because that's the dude that really got us into wrestling. We lost Scott Hall, a.k.a. Razor Ramon, a.k.a. the Diamond Stud, and whoever else he might have played. And, yeah, one thing I do got to say is whenever Johnny and I first got into wrestling, we got still in the era of Hogan, Macho Man, the Ultimate Warrior, and all them. At the time, Macho Man was still like a commentator. And for us, like we knew that these were kind of like the guys. You know, you saw them on TV commercials, like those ice cream pops and stuff like that. Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, and all them. So for us, when Razor made his grand entrance, and those vignettes were awesome. Those little vignettes, like they were so awesome. We were quoting them in school. We were curious, who the fuck is this guy? He looks fucking awesome. We can't wait for him to come on, you know? And he finally does, and he's like just awesome, and the toothpick and all the mannerisms, just the swagger. Like that's the dude that really got us in there, tuning every week to see what Razor is going to do next. His whole thing with the, you know, Macho Man. Hey, man, I'm the only one with machismo around here, Chico. And all that good stuff. And, yeah, any fond memories there, Johnny?
Well, you know, I just remember all his little gimmicks, and, you know, was a good wrestler. And we did meet him before at the Steel City Con. I forgot what year it was exactly, but, yeah, it's kind of weird that we met him, and who would have thought that years later, you know, unfortunately he's no longer with us. You know, it's pretty it's quite a shocker, you know.
It's sad that he's gone. I mean, he really unfortunately, you know, he didn't have the best couple, I want to say 15 years. And unfortunately, especially in this industry, it takes a toll on you mentally as well as physically. But one of the things that it's kind of funny when you know people that pass away, certain people, you don't realize what they did until after the fact. So a couple of the things I found out about Scott Hall, which I'm like, wow, like you don't realize how influential he actually was. So when the Outsiders first came into WCW, behind the scenes, you know, Sting was in a transitional period and he wasn't really sure what he was going to do with his character. He was like, oh, it's 90s, you know, it's kind of late 90s, you know, that kind of surfer gimmick's not really working. I'm not really sure. I was thinking about doing something dark. And Sting has even said this. Scott said the very famous words, hey, have you ever seen the movie The Crow? What if you did something like that? And so it's weird that Scott saying something as simple as that could plant the seed of what Sting is now. As well as the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's one of the most well-recognized wrestlers around the planet. You may have seen people use the sling blade. That's his move. He is when he was a young lion, which is their developmental program in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Scott Hall was also wrestling when he was on WCW, you know, wrestling around, and he actually pulled Hiroshi Tanahashi to the side, and he said, "Hey, kid, you got something special. You know, I can tell you're the future of this industry, and you're gonna make things change." And he even said after he found out he passed away, he said, I can't thank him enough for what he did to me in my career by just giving me the inspiration to believe in myself." So things like that where you don't really see, and yes, unfortunately, I will say this repeatedly, I've said this repeatedly, the Clique have been notoriously like politicking and doing things where it's like, you know, money over substance. And yeah, that's true. But to disregard what Scott Hall has actually accomplished in his wrestling career, outside the ring, as a person, it can't really be understated what he's actually brought to this industry. And he will be missed. And it's really sad to see him no longer with us. But he does carry with him great company in that big wrestling ring in the sky.
Yeah, I gotta say, the other night, you know, after a while after work, I started binge watching his some of his stuff. I was been watching the original vignettes because again they were so much fun. The whole thing with him like spitting the fruit at the guy, or the one that really got me was the one where there was a dude by the fountain, and he like, you know, what can I say? He just pushed the guy, just so casually shoved the guy into the water. And everything, and he goes, "Hey!" and all that, and he's all like, "I'm making people's dreams come true. That guy over there, he was dreaming about a swim." And everything, and you know, the girls, the chicas, they're just for fun, man, and all that, and it's like, I probably scarred her heart for the rest of her life. Oh well. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And the funniest thing of all is that whole gimmick was based on the character from Scarface, and when he told Vince McMahon about it, Vince McMahon legit thought it was all like new stuff. Like he never heard of it. He never like thought, you know, it was based on the movie. He's like, hey, that's some good shit right there. Yeah, use that. And stuff like that. That's funny. But mostly though, I was also watching lots of stuff from back when he was the Diamond Stud, and it's so funny how you see like how he was back then, because that was of course before he came over to WWE or WWF I should say, and before he became the Razor Ramon. But you see some of the you know, his general attitude just without the Cuban gimmick, but a general attitude, general tough guy kind of thing, and it's funny because every time he starts his matches he's all like, hey, all you kids out there, y'all want to be just like me, and you know what time it is? It's stud time, and all that. And it's so weird hearing him talk without the kind of Hispanic accent. And dude, like, we just believed it, man. We just believed it. Now that's the thing. I didn't know Scott Hall was his real name at the time. I just thought, because, you know, all these guys, and now that I think about it, a lot of these guys had the real names. Like whenever Mr. Perfect came over to WCW, he was called Kurt Hennig. I didn't know that was his real name, you know, and stuff like that. So when he came over, and I recognized Nash as Diesel, and they're coming in with their quote unquote new names, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I'm like, the fuck kind of name is Scott Hall? What? Because I thought he was Cuban, you know? I'm like what kind of name is that? I never knew that was his real name. Like I said, he made us believe, you know?
He was awesome when he was Razor Ramon. It was always so cool just because he was just like so... It was kind of like in the same vein as like Rick Rude, where like he was such an ass, but you kind of were like, you loved him for that. Or like early Shawn Michaels when he had the mullet, he was like that too. And he was just like, oh, he's such an ass, but damn, he's so good in the ring. You're like, oh, like, and a lot of, you could tell a lot of current, especially like indie wrestlers, a lot of current wrestlers take a lot from Scott. I mean, you can't look at like a guy like Ricky Starks and be like, okay, clearly he's influenced by Razor Ramon. Like, come on. Like we could tell.
I just wanted to add that I think he did set the tone. Like he did bring certain gimmicks to the wrestling business. He brought like a certain charisma, and then of course, people get influenced by that. So nowadays, you do see wrestlers like Ricky Starks to have a I don't know certain like influence from Razor Ramon. Let's just say it like that.
Also, when he hit the Razor's Edge, like that was because that's not an easy move to do. So when he would hit it, you're like, oh, it's over. It was like one of those moves like you match enders if he hits it. But because it was just such I hadn't seen that kind of move before where, some guy did like the crucifix powerbomb. I'd never seen that before. But he just did it. But when he did it so impactful.
And I remember back in the day that I think Super WrestleMania, it was, right, for the SNES.
Royal Rumble.
That was like, Royal Rumble. Okay, my bad. That was one of the favorites. I like the character. The music, the theme music's pretty cool. So that was pretty awesome. So those were good times.
Yeah, it's another thing. Me and Johnny and all my friends from school, like, that was like, I mean, he was our favorite guy. He was our favorite guy. And when Royal Rumble was coming out, you see the commercials, all the junk. I mean, for us, the biggest deal was like, holy shit, this was the first video game ever, because there were a couple of games out there at the time. This is the first WWF game that was going to have Razor Ramon in it. So that was like, for us, that was like day one buy. Like, we went out there that same weekend it came out and bought it and everything. And we were just super impressed, and I mean, it was good for what it was back then. You know how it is. You know how everyone has the same move or whatever. But back then, that was like the shit. And we were just playing that shit all the time. But yeah, that was awesome.
Are you talking about the Royal Rumble game where it had like the mechanics of like, or the graphics of like Mortal Kombat, where it was like?
Oh no, that came way later. That was called WWE. Oh. No, I think it was still F at the time, but WWF the arcade game, that was different. Yeah, that was like Mortal Kombat, but with the WWE guys in it. I'm like, what the fuck were they smoking with that?
I love the game so much. I used to play that all the time because I loved, like, it was little things that they added. But like Razor Ramon, when he would do, what was it? If you punched, like I think 3 times in a row, and you kept pressing the punch, his hand would eventually turn into a 2x4 and smack you.
No, I think in his case it actually turned into a blade. Because, Razor Ramon, it actually turned into a blade. Because they all had their little gimmicks based on.
Yeah, that's right. It was a blade. Yeah, that's right. You're right. It was a blade. Oh, no, I was just saying, like, if you guys ever want to see something funny, if you ever go on YouTube, you'll get a big laugh. They did a tutorial for how to do the buttons because they had a VHS tape of that game. And the wrestlers in character would tell you the button combos. So you'd hear Razor Ramon telling you the button combos. It's like, all right, Chico, first you gotta do the back, then you punch, kick. And it's so funny because you're like, what? Like, they're in character, and even Undertaker does it in character, and it's the funniest thing. You gotta watch it when you get time. It's so fun.
Oh man, yeah, definitely watching that one after this. That's amazing. But yeah, because they had a game called Super WrestleMania. It was the first WWF game for Super Nintendo, and I mean, it was kind of simple because everyone fought the same. But for us, it was like, oh my god, because, the 16-bit graphics and all that shit. So when they made Royal Rumble, it was the first game that, I mean, it fought the same too, but everyone at least had their finisher. So for us, it was extra because, Razor Ramon's in here. And also, we were watching more of it on TV at the time. So all the people like Crush and Yokozuna and them, they were on TV at the time. So it kind of, But yeah, that one... The arcade game came out, like, I think for the PlayStation and some other consoles, and I think that it was one of those where I think the PlayStation was the only one that had everyone in it, but if you bought it, like, for the smaller consoles, you're missing 2 or 3 characters because they couldn't handle them all and all that. And they were filmed in that Mortal Kombat, like you said, but digitized actors, so it moved all cheesy, and it was crazy shit. I actually tried to buy it once because I wanted to review it, and it gave me the fucking PAL version, man.
Oh man,
I was
actually
excited, like
have
I'm gonna
the
play it
actual-
and shit, and then I can't play it, and I was like trying to, message the console, why wasn't it playing it? And so I actually, looked at the disc and it said PAL. I'm like, the fuck, what?
Yeah, I have the actual because I still have my original Sega Genesis. I still have the actual.
Ah, so in that case, you're missing two people. I just can't think off the top of my head who, but I remember they trimmed down the roster some for like the Genesis version and all that. But yeah, the duel's pretty cool. I was gonna say that when I play some of my games online and tough opponents or whatever, or they just piss me off, I do the toothpick thing to the screen, even though like they can't see me doing it. You know what I mean? But I still like angrily do the toothpick thing and like yeah, get out of here or whatever. And yeah, one of the coolest things is I got to tell Razor that, and he thought it was cool. But yeah, he had some hard times and stuff. I'm glad that at least he managed to get cleaned up thanks to Diamond Dallas Page and everything, which is ironic because once upon a time they were a tag team, right? Like they were both like Diamond Dallas Page and Diamond Stud, right? And yeah, I'm glad he got cleaned up though. It's a shame that we lost him and stuff, but for a while there we were kind of afraid we were going to lose him due to his demons. But I'm glad that he at least got cleaned up, and like it's not good that he left us in any way, but at least it was something different. At least he had a good good last run, so to speak, and everything. But yeah, man, that's just like wow, man. It's sad because nowadays when you play any of the older Nintendo or Super Nintendo games, like half the roster's gone. You know what I mean? Like, jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's a bummer.
It's still a news that sometimes it's kind of hard to believe that happened. It's hard to believe that he's no longer with us, and yeah, it's a shame. But we're hoping that these hard types agree to his family. They're getting the most support they can get because it has to be very, it has to be very devastating.
Yeah. So another news. I don't know how much you want to dwell on this one, but I guess it's now official that Cody Rhodes is a whore for money. He actually did go to WWE. We're just waiting for his big whatever. I mean, one of the things is, from what I'm hearing, is that I guess their angles that Seth Rollins is like, I don't have a match for WrestleMania, wah, or whatever. So we're assuming that it'll be Cody when the time comes. And I don't know, I kind of feel like they're going to break the house down if it's anyone but Cody at this point. But other than that, I mean, we'll see what happens. And one discussion I've been having with other wrestling fans is on one end, Cody becoming, Stardust or like some kind of jobber or something is going to be a message for anyone else that wants to go to WWE that, yep, this is how they're going to treat you and stuff like that. But on the other side, WWE could maybe be smart and play up Cody and make him good so that hopefully it'll entice other people. Because I know they've been trying to get MJF for a while, but if they bring Cody and treat him like shit, like MJF ain't gonna sign the dotted line seeing that. He's not gonna want to be mid Carter or feuding with whoever their mid card is nowadays. Because I think Curtis Axel and them are gone, aren't they? So Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are long gone by now, I think. So you know what I mean? Like they gotta show some kind of example. They gotta show some kind of something that says if you join WWE, we're gonna shoot you to the moon, even though they won't. But
I just think it's gonna be funny if WWE tries to play up the if and that's a big if they mention AEW, which I doubt they will. If they mentioned that he was one of the most beloved people, I'm gonna be laughing my ass off because I'm like, clearly you didn't watch the product. But honestly, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Cody is nothing more than a whore for money. As messed up as that sounds, it's true. I mean, if you think about the whole situation, okay. So after Cody left WWE, he went to Ring of Honor, and he had a joint Ring of Honor New Japan contract. In the midst of that, WWE refused to give him the rights to use his own last name. And he went into a 5-year legal battle with WWE to get his own name back. And Tony Khan literally wrote a blank check to get his name back. And then Tony Khan gave him full rights to his last name. He helped him open up a wrestling school. He allowed him to cover his own merchandise resale. So basically, he would get the majority of the profits from it. He let him sell alcohol. He helped Brandy get her own show on YouTube where she would get profit from it. He got him on his own reality show. He got him on that big show, whatever the hell. He gave him multiple titles. He let him in charge of booking. But then, as the ratings started falling, he suddenly decides the ratings started falling. Cody was the head booker, and Cody didn't want to change anything. Cody kept thinking, oh, we're doing the right thing, so why change? And the problem is that's the same idiot logic, as messed up as it is to say. That was the same logic that his dad had back when he ran WCW near the end. He kept going, I know I'm right. Why would I change? Which, if you're in charge of anything, you have to be able to recognize when you're wrong. The problem is Cody can never be wrong in his mind. So, Tony Khan literally took away the control, the booking creative control, but he even said, I still want you part of the roster, I still want you on the main circuit, da-da-da-da. But basically, by taking away the booking decision, that was apparently the final straw for Cody. And he basically took his ball and ran home to get more money from the place that he spent a 5-year legal battle. And he also spent how many years in AEW? 3 years in AEW to running down, no, even before that, running down how terrible WWE was to everyone. And to go all through all of that and then come back. And the marks are spinning this as, oh, he's doing it to cement his legacy because he wants one big run in WWE. I'm like, do you honestly think he gives a crap how WWE sees him? No. They literally said, hey, we'll give you X number of dollars to sign with us for X number of years. And he goes, okay. That's literally it. So for Tony to literally invest in him, for Tony to give him money to invest in himself and literally create his own legacy, as they say in his intro, and for him to do that to me, I think I can speak clearly for pretty much every person that follows this and say, to hell with Cody. I have zero sympathy for the guy. If the guy gets, if they give him one WrestleMania match and then starting Monday his new name is Bootlick Johnson and his whole gimmick is to literally follow freaking, I don't know, the Street Profits and lick their boots or to I don't know, like wear a clown suit or work at a concession stand. I have zero sympathy for the guy. I have zero sympathy for the guy. I wish him nothing but unsuccess because of all this bullshit. Because it's not right, I'm like, you don't get to. I mean, who does that? Like, legitimately, he not only bit the hand that fed him, but the hand fed him, clothed him, bathed him, got him his own house financed, helped him open up a bank account, and then he slaps him and says, "Oh, I deserve more." So screw Cody. I got no sympathy for the guy. And as far as I'm concerned, Dustin is the only one who should have the right to the Rhodes name because he's earned everything he's gotten.
Still to this day, I think what a weird, aesthetically speaking, what a stupid decision to go back to WWE. I mean, WWE has very bad track records of not treating their wrestlers correctly and just treating them as jobbers. And pretty much like what Jack Knife said, I mean, AEW did a lot to Cody. Okay, they kind of brought him back to the spotlight, and yeah, it's true that Cody made this whole big deal that AEW, it's a good company, we do this, we do that. He was talking all that stuff, that we're progressive, that we respect women, that we do this and we do that. All this feel good talk about the AEW, that's a good wrestling company, that's better than the WWE, which yeah, that's true though. All that stuff. So and then he did have his reality show, and then Brandy also has her TV show and all that stuff on YouTube. To get all that and to just throw the towel away and to go back to the company that pretty much fired his ass. It's just like make it make sense. Make it make sense, because it makes no sense why he would go back to the WWE. And my only train of thought though is that because he's in it for the money, let's see how long he'll actually be in the WWE until they do some stupid shit to Cody, and then he's gonna be, I quit, and then maybe I don't know where else he's gonna go after that one.
If someone could take that clip from the movie Castaway, where Tom Hanks is on the raft, he's like, well said, I'm sorry, but like instead have Wilson be AEW and then Photoshop Cody's face on Tom Hanks. I will be so happy if someone actually did that. But I will laugh so hard.
Yeah, technically, in simple terms, the whole Cody situation, it was like he got promoted to AEW, and now he's demoted.
Another thing is, let's see if they even take him back, because it's like the old Hispanic phrase goes, ya estás quemado.
Okay, translate that for the people that don't know what it means.
I don't know. Well, it kind of means like you already gave yourself a bad rep, so to speak. It's like a slang term that kind of means you already gave yourself a bad rep. Because like what Jackknife says, the dude didn't just like bite the hand. He like fucking devoured the hand and took the whole fucking arm and then beat the guy with the arm. He beat Tony Khan with his own arm, basically speaking. So yeah, slang term. No, ya estás quemado, And ask Thunder Rosa, she'll tell you what that means.
And the thing is, honestly, the WWE has treated him so bad. I'm not surprised that he's gonna be a jobber at this. This whole thing is weird.
So I don't know if there's any other news. I mean, the only thing is that recently Toni Storm just hit last night AEW Dynamite. So they're talking about this, mystery opponent that's going to be facing the Bunny for like a women's tournament that's coming up or something. And Toni Storm in the house. That's pretty awesome. And another thing is Marina Shafir has been tearing it up in Dark for the last couple of weeks. I've been covering all the Dark matches, and now they're trying to set it up for her against Jade. And the way they're playing it up, where even Jade's manager feels kind of nervous, because first they were playing it up because Jade has her big 30th victory coming soon. So whoever she beats next is going to be her 30th victory. And the guy was trying to set her up with like the librarian, Leva Bates, who I'm surprised she still works there, because every week I see her in the librarian outfit promoting like, don't forget to watch Dynamite, don't forget to watch Rampage, don't miss Dark. But it's like, where is she though? You know what I mean? But so they brought her in for a second to remind us she still works there, and it's obvious that the manager's playing it up like, hey, here's an easy win, and Jade's like, the fuck no, get out of here, bitch, she's not on my level. And then they mentioned Marina Shafir. Like I said, the manager's a bit nervous. Jade's like, hey, you sound like you're like not confident. Like, dude, bring this Marina Shafir, I'll take care of it or whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know if Marina Shafir would be like for a TBS champion, but I do know it's going to be one hell of a fight. That they have to do it. Like, this has to be one where Jade wins by the skin of her teeth, or at least evenly matched. They got to play it right, because like I said, Marina Shafir, she's another MMA fighter. She's actually friends with Ronda Rousey and Jessamine Duke and all them. And
she's one of the 4 horsewomen of UFC.
Yeah. So, and she's, like I said, she's been wrecking house in Dark, and just I like the way she just glares at her opponent with such like disgust or like intensity, or like, I don't know, I'm gonna wreck your shit, bitch, kind of thing, and I want to see her bring that towards Jade and to see just how it goes. And kudos to Jade if she does win this, but it's going to be a fight. But any thoughts on Marina, Jade, and Toni?
Well, I'm beyond happy that Tony's finally in a promotion, hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully in a promotion that treats her the way she should be treated, because she is legitimately one of the top tier women athletes around the world. As far as like, I'm not talking about necessarily just her ring skills, but she's actually really great on the mic. She's really good at like promoting herself. She's appealing to everyone. Like she's one of those few people that can kind of click with everyone in the wrestling industry. She's shit. I don't even know how many titles she's won at this point in her career. She's like, I think like 33 titles altogether in her career. And she was in Stardom, she was in Shimmer, she was in Rise, she was in WWE. She was the first ever NXT Women's Champion, or a NXT UK Women's Champion. She won. Didn't she win the Mae Young Classic?
I forgot if either she won it or she was like the second place, but she was in the final match.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, I think it was the second year. I think she did win it. Yeah, I think she won the second year. Yeah, and then and I'm like, her accomplishments speak volumes. Like her resume speaks for itself, and I honestly am like, I'm happy that she's in AEW. I'm happy she's in AEW. I hope that they actually use her proper. And I'm starting to see slowly that they're testing the waters on certain wrestlers. I don't watch Darker Revelations because I don't really have the time. So I don't really know how the show is as a whole. But I know it's more of like a developmental kind of thing. But I'm hoping that she'll show up like more on like Rampage or on Dynamite, because I would love to see her in like a big feud. I think her and Rosa battling each other would be amazing, because they're both former Stardom champions. Not top champions, but they are both former Stardom champions. And I'd like to see them clash again, because they always have an ability to bring out the best in each other. And I'm curious to see who else is going to come in through the door, because a lot of people are rumoring that Athena might go through the door, because that would be pretty cool. But I'm also thinking with how the now Tony Khan has control over Ring of Honor, maybe we might see some of these people going to Ring of Honor and battle for the Women of Honor title. So who knows? I mean, worst case scenario, if they're not used proper in AEW, not in a negative way, but like, overshadowed, they could always go over to Ring of Honor and be like, hey, let's try them out here, see if they work.
The one thing I do want to mention, though, is I was noticing, I forgot if it was either last night or this morning, that Ruby Soho was trending on Twitter. So I was kind of like, oh, fuck, what did she do, or what happened, or you know how Twitter is, what did she say 10 years ago or whatever. But actually, all of it was based on Toni Storm, how they kept comparing Toni to Ruby, saying that let's see what happens, because when Ruby came in, she was big, she lots of pop, she went up against Britt Baker for a minor feud, and now she's on Dark and Dark Evolution every weekend, which, I mean, to be fair, I mean, she is perfecting her craft in Dark, so I can't really complain too much, but a lot of people complain about that. So now they're comparing to Toni Storm, that, okay, well, let's give her like 2 weeks or so, and then she'll be on Dark every week from now on. And we'll see. Now, one thing I did notice about both of those shows, Dark, I think, is more like actual dark matches. But Dark Elevation, I mean, it's kind of weird. It's a bit of in between, because it's kind of like on one side, like you said, it is developmental. For two big examples were Chris Statlander and especially, what's her name? Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot her. Layla Hirsch. Layla Hirsch was tearing it up on Dark until she, I guess she got good enough, and now we see her appearing on Dynamite and stuff like that. And Red Velvet was also on Dark a lot before she, now starts showing up on TV and stuff. So they are kind of developing. But on the other side, though, their feuds continue. I mean, there's matches where sometimes, back when Mercedes was still, the new enforcer for Britt Baker, there would be matches where Ruby and Thunder Rosa were a tag team and they're beating up whatever, but then Mercedes would come in to make her presence known and stuff like that, or sometimes there's a team disputing with Andrade, so Andrade and his guys show up, and so they do kind of sort of follow the feuds. They do kind of do a thing where there's enough wins. If they have enough wins, they'll start, popping on TV, going after the title or so forth. I really do wish that Emi Sakura would be back on TV. She is so cheesy now. Like, not only is she doing the Freddie Mercury thing, now she's singing Deo Deo when she gets people in that surfboard move. And it's not too often, but now she's been doing the that snooty Karen Kansuki anime girl laugh whenever she does something devilish or whatever.
The problem with Tokyo Joshi Pro is they're more on the entertainment side of wrestling, aka the joke side of wrestling, than they are the actual athleticism. So the problem is most of them focus more on their, are trained more in how do I get a pop from the crowd as opposed to what can I do in the ring. And it sounds good on paper, but it doesn't translate well unless you're into that kind of niche market.
Yeah, but she's got all kinds of submission moves and the Death Valley Driver, just a whole bunch of shit. But I don't know. I feel one thing they've been doing lately is they've been doing lots of trios matches. I mean, I think once in a while, maybe not too much, or I don't know, like you said, test the waters. But they really should do some trios matches with some of these lesser people, mix them up some on Dynamite or Rampage or something. Lately, they've been doing a thing where Vicky Guerrero has a team of Nyla Rose, Emi Sakura, and the Bunny all working together, thrashing people. And I'm like, dude, bring that shit here. Bring it to Dynamite. Let more people see them. They're a hell of a team,
Yeah, I agree. I think they should do something with that. Here's hoping that the whole Owen Hart Cup thing with the women actually bring more of a spotlight to their talents. Because I've noticed with wrestling, tournaments can always seem to bring out the best in people's abilities. So here's hoping that. I do have one other piece of news, if it's cool.
Yeah, go right ahead, man. We're all about the wrestling.
Okay, so this apparently happened on the 29th of March. This happened in Japan, in the the Kanagawa Prefecture of Japan. There's a very popular wrestler named Great-O-Khan. He's a member of New Japan Pro Wrestling's roster. He apparently was passing by a public restroom, and this woman was grabbed by two men and were trying to kidnap her, and he stopped them. So he literally beat them to death. Not to death. He beat the crap out of them and saved the girl. And he was in full wrestling gear, but he literally beat the crap out of this girl and prevented her from getting kidnapped. And she said, he said, "Are you okay?" She said, she cried to him and said, "I don't know how to thank you. I was just getting some food, and I had bought some pancakes. Do you want some?" And he said, "No. I don't need anything." She's like, "Oh, come on, I want to thank you in some ways." Like, if you want to thank me, my name is Great-O-Khan in New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you can just, watch it if you get some time and, support New Japan, and that'll be enough for me. And then he left, and that was it. And I'm like, but that's cool to me, like a wrestler saving the day and preventing someone from getting kidnapped is it's a cool story,
Wow, that is cool, but holy snap. I mean, talk about the lack of safety, huh?
Yeah, she was just she was just walking down the street, and these guys just grabbed her. Apparently they were drunk. They grabbed her and dragged her into the bathroom, and he saw it, and he ran and beat the crap out of him.
Can you imagine? I mean, first of all, of course, it's like the big shock of getting kidnapped and, all that stuff. But can you imagine? Because obviously you're calling for help, or like for anyone to help you. And fucking, let's say, fucking Lance Archer shows up and beats the crap off them. You're like, what? I mean, part of you is relieved that you're getting rescued. The other part's like, what the fuck am I, like,
what's really funny is if you look up a picture of Great Khan, his gear, his whole gimmick is like he's like this kind of almost demon thing. He has mouth guards in his mouth that make fang teeth. So he has constantly fang teeth. So my head is thinking he's got the fang teeth, he's got the long ponytail, he looks like a martial art master, and I'm like, he literally, it would be like a character from Final Fight coming and beating the shit out of you. Like, that is, it's terrible for the woman. I'm glad she's okay, but it's also hilariously awesome. Just the visual of like, it's like, we're gonna take you, girl, and just some like Final Fight character come out and it's like, ready, go.
I can imagine that. I mean, and especially for a non-wrestler or whatever, her first thought is, oh shit, here comes their boss or something. Like, damn. So in other words, it would be like fucking Penta Oscuro comes to save you from some guy. It's like, oh shit, that's like, damn.
It's crazy.
But yeah, but of course, most important thing, I'm glad she's okay. But wow, that's, oh my god. All right, so anyways, guys, on that news, I'm sure we'll have more news to come because, of course, we'll be doing another podcast after this event and all that. So yeah, let's get started with the Supercard of Honor. What number is that? Is that 10?
I believe so. Yes. Let me.
I've just been calling it Supercard of Honor, 2022 because I'm kind of. I don't know.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I believe it's the 15th. 15th.
Ah, okay. Oh, so my card's like way outdated. I got like Supercard of Honor 10 or something. I'll probably change that while we're talking. But anyways, yeah, so we'll be talking about that, doing our predictions. In this particular case, since Jackknives watches more Ring of Honor and is more in charge of, you know, like you're the one that watches it and knows more about the feuds and who's fighting who and the what's and the who's it's and all that. You'll be the one describing the feuds, and then we'll give our thoughts and our predictions the best we can. Fair warning, I'll most likely go for the people I already know or just whoever, because I don't know. Or maybe based on how Jack describes the feud, it might give us a clue or not, but we'll see. And also, I believe DJF, who couldn't join us today, he also gave us his prediction, so we'll throw his ring into the hat here. Do you want to keep track of the predictions this time, or do you want me to still pull up the notepad?
If you want to keep track of the predictions, then I'll just I can go over what the matches are, and then that way we can figure out from there. So I'll say the matches, you keep track of the predictions, and we'll just go around in a circle. Okay.
Okay. And if you want, Johnny, you can join in, because again, I don't know nothing either. I'm just going by the people I know, because a lot of AEW guys are going to be in this one, so you'll at least recognize some of them.
Yep, that works for me. All right, so starting off, the first match that they announced, the match they just announced was for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. Rhett Titus will be defending against Minoru Suzuki. Rhett Titus is more of like a technical style wrestler. In the same, him, Jonathan Gresham, Jay Lethal, and Josh Woods are a part of a faction, and Tracy, and I forgot his name. Tracy Williams. They are part of a faction known as the Foundation, and their whole gimmick is based around pure wrestling, technical wrestling, and more like Bryan Danielson is a pure wrestler, so his style of wrestling. And you already know who Suzuki is. He's the scary grandpa that everybody fears and everybody's intimidated by. Yep. So, who do you guys got for this one? Minoru Suzuki or Rhett Titus?
I'm going to go for Rhett Titus. I'm sorry. I'm going to go for Minoru Suzuki. I want to see him just tear it up. He looks like a pretty cool dude. Now, this one, was this a match that was just announced, or was there some kind of build-up to it, or...
No, this just got announced because this and one other match, the issue is up until Tony Khan bought the rights to Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor itself had only officially announced that there was only going to be 3 titles that would be fully recognized: the Ring of Honor World title, Tag Team title, and Women's title. So the television title and pure title, as far as everyone knew, those titles were no longer valid. But now that Tony Khan purchased it, he reinstated those belts. So the champions that were the last champions, so Rhett Titus was the last world television champion. He won it at Final Battle. And Josh Woods is the last pure champion. He won that at the pay-per-view before Final Battle. I think it was Death Before Dishonor. And so now he's fully recognized those belts as still being valid, which I'm super happy about, because that makes me, I'm like, to me, it'd be dumb to just have 3 belts and that's it. So yeah, this is for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. So you're going with Suzuki. Who do you got, Johnny? Suzuki or Rhett Titus?
Those Rhett Titus.
Okay. Well, honestly, this is going to be a good match regardless, because Rhett Titus, he is a 20-year veteran. He only just recently started picking up more momentum in the ring, but Suzuki is Suzuki. And from my personal opinion, it's never smart to bet against him unless you know exactly who's like, who could beat him. So in this regard, I think Suzuki's going to win as well, and he's probably going to become the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. And who did DJF have for his pick?
Oh, he also went for Titus. So you're going for Suzuki?
Yeah, I'm going for Suzuki. Johnny's going for Titus. DJF's going for Titus, and you're going for Suzuki. So it's 2-2.
Yep, there we go. 2-2. So what's the next match on the card there?
This one's a little harder to predict because it's a singles match between Ninja Mac and Tully Blanchard's new, I guess his new person he's going to be managing, but he hasn't announced who it is, so it's a mystery opponent. But I think it's kind of a fair safe to bet that it's probably going to be the mystery opponent who wins. So whoever that may be. So my guess is for the mystery opponent. I think that's kind of going to be a gimme.
Yeah, I'm also going to go for the mystery opponent. I mean, like this Ninja Mac guy, have you seen him or like in matches, or is he a random jobber? Or?
I have actually never heard of him, to be honest. I tried looking him up, and apparently he's only worked like really like ma and pa indie shows. From what I can gather, he's not like a mainstay. Like at first I was thinking maybe he was a part of the Ring of Honor dojo or something, but no, I honestly, I don't think, unless I'm mistaking him for someone else, I don't think I've ever seen him. Okay, so he's original. I just looked up. He's from GCW, but he's
Game Changer Wrestling.
Yeah, he's from GCW. Doesn't look like he's been wrestling that long. As far as his in-ring career. Yeah, he's only won one championship in his career, and it was a gimmick belt. So I think it's pretty safe to say he's probably not going to.
I think I'll also go with the mystery opponent.
Okay, now, so is there anyone that's like recently like dropped their contract, or anyone that you could kind of think could possibly be this mystery opponent? Because I got zero idea. I don't know. It could be a Ring of Honor favorite that left and is coming back, or I got no idea.
My thing is, I can only think of. That's the problem. I'm trying to think of who could be. That's the thing. I can't think of anyone, because I'm not thinking of like Ring of Honor necessarily. I'm thinking of like who Tully would manage, because Tully seems to go for guys who have a more of a in-ring adaptability, but they're more closer to like the old school style of wrestling, like like FTR, or how his daughter Tessa wrestles. They're kind of slower. They're kind of more methodical and like old school 80s wrestling. So I'm trying to think like who in my head I could see him manage. I'm trying to think, honestly. Maybe. No, I was thinking Dalton Castle, but no, it wouldn't be Dalton Castle. He's too flamboyant. He would be like way too over the top for Tully. I don't know. I'm really shot in the dark here. I have no idea. I had a theory that because he's so misused in AEW, I was thinking maybe, and I had a whole conversation with him. He's never wrestled for this company before, so this could be an easy way for him to get his foot in the door. Maybe Brian Cage.
What's his current status? He's not injured or anything, is he?
No. They just, I think, like his last match was on like Dark Elevation, and that was like 2 weeks ago. Like they barely use him.
I mean, that could be it, man. That could be a good like new start from him. But yeah, I think all four of us are going for the mystery opponent, including DJF.
All right. So moving on. Deonna Purrazzo is the current Women of Honor champion, but unfortunately, she is unable to attend the show due to travel restrictions. I think there's like an issue with where she's at right now because like she wasn't able to get to attend in time. So she's still technically the Women of Honor champion, but because she's unable to attend the show in Texas, I believe her significant other might have COVID. I think it's something like that. So they're going to have an interim Ring of Honor Women of Honor World Championship, and it's going to be between Mercedes Martinez and Willow Nightingale. What's interesting about Willow being in it is Willow was in the semifinals of the Women of Honor tournament. Roxy was the winner who won the title, but she is unfortunately now signed to WWE's NXT developmental. And Miranda Alizé, I believe, is going to be signed with GCW, I believe. I'm not sure. I actually am not too sure with Miranda Alizé what's going on with her. She might be signed with Impact. I'm not sure.
I've seen both her, Miranda Alizé, and Willow. I've seen them both in Dark and Dark Elevation off and on.
Oh, okay. So yeah, then that makes more sense. So Willow Nightingale, who she is a good talent. She's very talented, especially considering she's only been wrestling for maybe like a year and a half. But considering she's only been wrestling for about a year and a half to 2 years, she's pretty fluid for the way she wrestles, and that's a huge plus. And Mercedes is, of course, a 20-plus year veteran. You know, everyone knows who Mercedes Martinez is. Like, she's everywhere. Who I think will win, I would like it. I'm going to just shot in the dark and say Willow Nightingale will win.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can't judge based on other shows, but the way she's, Willow's kind of like the fall girl in Dark when she goes up against other people, like Ruby, Thunder Rosa, and so forth. So, I mean, I'm thinking since, of course, it's now a pay-per-view match, she's going to give way more of a match and way more technique and all that. But I don't know. I'm pretty much giving it to Mercedes. I don't know. Mercedes has been at it for too long. And I don't know. I just think she's going to win it. Like, I'm just surprised that I recognize Willow from Dark. And maybe it's just because my mind just goes to there that she's been on Dark. But like you said, she was like the second place to win this big tournament before, so she's obviously a bit higher status elsewhere. But yeah, I'm gonna still give it to Mercedes. I don't know. I just don't see her on the pay-per-view losing, not to someone like Willow.
Well, keep in mind. Remember, whoever wins this is only technically the interim champion. So they're not technically. They are a champion, but they're not the champion until they beat Deonna Purrazzo. So I'm trying to think of like. And honestly, actually, that could be interesting because I don't think Deonna has ever fought Mercedes. So yeah, maybe it could be. But I'm gonna stick with my guns and go with Willow. But that's me.
Yeah, but damn, that's a good point. Deonna Purrazzo versus Mercedes. Damn.
So for this match, I chose Mercedes. Yeah, to see what happens with this match. Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Like I said, since it is more like a higher like pay-per-view match, and like Jack described, Willow has gone farther in other places. Because you know how it is in Dark, it's always, so and so versus Ruby, so and so versus Thunder Rosa, so and so versus Nyla Rose. Gee, I guess who's gonna win? Like you already kind of know. But now it's a pay-per-view, more high-profile match, and like you said, they'll be temporary champion. They gotta fight Diana Purrazzo for the title, like a big title match. I mean, I'm thinking we're gonna be seeing way more of Willow's skill. At least for me, I haven't seen her wrestle anywhere that's not dark or dark elevation. So this will be a shot to see more of her skills. Even if Mercedes does win, it'll be more of a fight. So, I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And I think it's the only women's match in this event. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to this one.
What did DJF pick for his pick?
He also went for Mercedes. So once again, you're the contrarian.
All right.